Hey everybody, Paul Yokobaitis from Cary Estate Planning, back with another installment of New Year, New Laws. Again, focusing on the Secure Act, and this time we're going to talk about the estate planning implications of the Secure Act's impact on Stretch IRAs, essentially the elimination of Stretch IRAs, and the way that that impacts the way trusts are drafted, why they need to be likely changed for a lot of people. And that starts with the way that trusts essentially were to receive IRA assets if you pass away, and if those were left to kids through a trust. So generally, the trust would have what's called conduit language in it, and essentially what that allowed was for the IRA plan administrator to look through the trust to the individually named beneficiaries when it was calculating the required minimum distributions for the respective beneficiaries. So it would allow for the RMD to essentially pass through the trust and be taken as income by the beneficiary, but it allowed the parents to essentially prevent their kids from withdrawing too much principal all at once. So it essentially could allow parents to force their kids to stretch the IRA over their own lifetime. That allowed for essentially the locking in of a pension for the kids for their own retirement. So it could end up being, a retirement that benefited the kids or the parents during their lifetime, and then, passed on to the kids for their benefit. So what the Secure Act did was essentially put a cap on stretches. So the conduit language that you would normally find in trusts is no longer useful, because regardless of the age of the beneficiary, the trust, it no longer needs to be a see-through trust. The plan administrator no longer cares, how old the beneficiary is. Aside for minors get to stretch until they're 18, and then they get to take, in 10-year installments. But it essentially treats everyone else the same. The trust would be required to essentially distribute the entirety of the IRA benefits or the asset in 10 years max. So generally, if you have minor kids or immature adult kids who you expected to have your trust essentially stretch out the benefit of your IRA longer than 10 years, your trust generally needs to be revised to take into consideration these changing regulations. We're going to dive into that a little bit more tomorrow with some more depth in the next installment, so keep an eye out for that. But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. This is Paul from Cary Estate Planning.